So the fear was very real there for like about 25 seconds that I may had forgotten to have put Richard's name into the intro. And I was like, oh God, did I put Richard's name in? Did I put Richard's name in? We have to wait. We have to wait to find out. Sorry. Hello, everybody. We're very welcome along to tonight's stream where I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking at all. And everything is fine and everything is great. You are all very welcome to the latest episode of Beyond Horizon's Edge. I am your very nervous dungeon master. I was again. It was only when the new opening credits started to play that I went, "Oh God, did I put Richard's name in?" Because at the time I was like, I obviously I knew Richard's first name, but I was like, "What's Richard's second name?" And I just wrote Richard blankety blank as Annam, and I was like, "Oh no." Oh no, did I update that? Did I leave that as blankety blank? Because now Richard's name will forever be blankety blank.
I'd have to
Um,
legally change it.
you'll have to, yeah. Like again, just it's on Twitch. It's canon. It's done and dusted. There's no way around it. I'm so sorry. Um, but I fixed it. Obviously, I put that in and it was there, and now there's no need to panic, and everything is fine, and the adrenaline will leave my body in a moment or two. Um, you are welcome along. It's been 2 weeks, and if you are all caught up, you would know that the gang have begun their descent into the unknown. They are having found what they believe to be the Knoll's lair and the whereabouts of the new recruits to the to Byron's guild in the village of Canuck. Uh, but we are not continuing with that story right now. You will notice that we are missing a party member. Nope, that way. That way. Yeah, that's where. We are down Redmond this evening. Our Emma is a little under the weather. So we decided that we wanted to keep the stream going, but we didn't want to progress as a party without kind of without the muscle slash the meat shield. I mean, Anam is muscle as well, but
Like the heart of the group.
yes, the heart of the group that we put in front of all the scary things to take all the punches. And when they've all run out of key points and spell slots, we then let Anam go in and beat the crap out of them. So, Emma, if you are watching, I hope you feel better. Regiment is safe for this evening. I'm not always comfortable putting people's characters into limbo for the sake of progressing the story. Unless it's kind of a down episode, it's not. So we've decided to just park that. And for this session and the next session, we will be running prologue episodes. So we'll be looking into events that took place before the main campaign that we are currently playing. And that's going to give our players a chance to set some things into canon for themselves. Maybe not annoy half the village. Maybe make a friend or two along the way that might come to their aid if they need it later on. They're definitely going to need it. But for this session and our next session, we will be running these little mini prologues. And after that, we will find out just what awful, terrible things are down in the dark below. Until then, we will have to wait and see. And it's not a D8 dungeon stream. If there isn't a cat screaming, there aren't technical difficulties, or I don't leave you on some sort of edged cliffhanger. Okay, so one of those three things has to happen in one of the streams at all times. And in most cases, usually all of them happen in an episode. So there's all of that to deal with. Before we dive into tonight's adventure, The Lost and the Found, a couple of quick things to mention. The first is our wonderful friends over at Mystery Dice Goblin. If you are in the need, and again, you play TTRPGs, you're watching a TTRPG stream, you're always in the need for your dice. Then you need to head on over to Mystery Dice Goblin, the premier D&D dice UK shop, and outside of the amazing dice that they stock, they also carry a bunch of TTRPG accessories. My new latest obsession are the pins that they collect and that I'm collecting, that they sell. So you can check out their all of their amazing stuff over at mysterydicegoblin.com. And we have a promotional code to offer as well. So if you use the code D8 at checkout, you get 15% off your order. Then you get 15% off your order. Why was that? Why was I about to explain what a 15% discount means? I was about to explain what a 15% discount means. But we do get a portion of those sales as well. So if you use that code, a little bit of it comes back to us, and that helps us get new art, attend other events, and make more shows. And speaking of all those things, the first thing I want to point out is, do you see this very basic overlay that is only helped and actually elevated by the amazing art that you'll see of Redmond, Mooney, Annam, and Diara? That art is by the amazing Cat. And I think, is this? No, we used to have not their Cat, but if you again, all of that. You can again catch. You want to tell people where they can find you, or where they can your shop
Oh
or
God.
stores, or sorry
You
to put
put me on the
Yeah,
spot.
yeah,
You never said this was gonna happen.
we're live.
Uh,
Anything can
yeah.
happen.
So I do art sometimes. I'm on TikTok if you want to see how I make my art. My username is ixcato. The ix is 9, but I'm really bad at branding. Also on Instagram,
Oh,
Twitter, and commissions aren't open unless you're doing a really cool project. Then totally let me know. My contact information, if you go onto either my Twitter or my TikTok and you click on the link in my bio, it'll take you to not website kind of website, and my email is there. Go find it if you want.
do.
Thank you.
Um,
And I'm on Etsy. Give me money.
yeah, perfect. Yeah, yeah. Dedicated. So I will.
And some of my prints are going to be at your stall at
Yes.
AdventureCon.
Um, so thank you for the wonderful segue. Eilish, over to you. Where no. Kat is right though. We are attending AdventureCon again this year, and I didn't think we could possibly do more than we did last year at AdventureCon. And then somehow I got away with doing more at AdventureCon this year, and nobody on their team or our team told me no. So
We've given up.
yeah, it's just easier. I'm running 3 games, 2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. I'm running 2 D&D 5e games. I say 2 D&D 5e games. I'm running The Haunting of Vanderbilt House, a Fey horror themed mystery. Very D&D 5e, very D&D 5e. And then I'm running one called We Are the Many, and it's based on a TikTok video that I saw on Instagram. Because I'm an old person, and
Your age is
yeah,
showing.
I'm an old person. I'm not on the TikToks. Okay, I was, and it was all very confusing. So I'm back on Instagram, and that's where I get my TikToks. Okay, and I'm really excited to run it because I always love seeing people's takes and mechanics on things and then playing with them. So in We Are the Many, you are playing an entire village worth of NPCs where the heroes never came to help, and the villagers have to take it upon themselves to rise up and fight against the horde that have taken over their village. So you are playing level 0 NPCs. And the aim of it is to try and survive and take back your village because no one's coming to help. So players are going to draw blindly from stacks of different NPCs. But each time an NPC falls, that means that a villager has died, and there's less likelihood of the village continuing on. So with a few, again, I do not know the name of because again, I'm an old person. My TikToks were on Instagram, so I don't know the name of the person, but it's not an original idea, but I am throwing in some original mechanics because I'm like, this would be really fun to try this out with it. So I do think both of those games are fully booked though on Saturday. which sounds like a humble brag, but I was really excited to see that both games were actually booked. I was like, yeah, people want to play my stupid games. But I'm running a Lasers and Felines game on the Sunday called TikTok Kitty Cat. And it's about a bunch of cats that take over someone's TikTok/Instagram reels. Yeah, the hijinks that they get up to. So it's a Laser and Felines one shot.
Just dox people.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's basically my cats doxing me for 3 hours. But I'm really, really excited to run it. I've played Lasers and Felines and I've run it before, and it's so much fun and it's really chaotically silly. And I'm running 2 workshops, one on Saturday on narrative design, so how storytelling in your campaigns, and weaving one-shots into adventures and adventures into long-form campaigns. It is part talk and panel, part workshop, so there will be a chance to collaborate and connect and work with each other. So it is sort of a bring your stories, bring your ideas, and let's talk about how we might weave them together. And so it is going to be a very safe and constructive space talking about storytelling and sharing ideas and working together. And on Sunday, speaking of safe spaces, I'm going to be talking about running session zeros and the importance of session zeros in your campaigns. And really looking forward to that and talking about safety tools in TTRPGs in general. So that, and for the record, that's just what I'm doing. Amber is going to be there as well. And Amber is going to be running our stall. And not only will we have Kat's amazing prints at the stall, we also have some, and I'm really, really excited because Romancing the Dungeon has been running for like 3.5 years, and we've never had any bit of merch.
But we've won all those awards, though.
Yes, we've loads of awards, but we never had any merch. That thing that I really, really wanted to have for ages. So we've got some shiny T-shirts. Now, to be fair, actually, the T-shirts are for the crew, for the D8 Dungeon crew. But there is one spare, and in podcast-inspired hijinks, as part of the stall, we are going to be running Jim Jam Flim Flam's Lucky Dip. And if you're sitting there going, what the hell is a Jim Jam Flim Flam and why does he have a Lucky Dip? You need to go and check out Season 1 and Season 2 of Romancing the Dungeon and meet the weird little kobold who is a purveyor and connoisseur of jams, preserves, conserves, and now, in Season 2, chutneys. And he buys... Sorry... Character, yeah, see, not just the PCs get a bit of character growth, my NPCs get some character growth. He makes and sells his own jams and jellies, usually out of bits and pieces of monsters that he finds along the way. And if you buy one of his jams or jellies or chutneys, you usually get to have a dip in his Lucky Dip sack. That is filled with all sorts of ridiculous items. And we decided that we'd bring some of those hijinks with us to AdventureCon. You won't be buying any jam, but with a donation, you will get to do a Lucky Dip. And there are no bad prizes. So there are vouchers for health potions that we will encourage your DM, again, because you have to talk to your DM. We'll encourage your DM to give you, because obviously you made a donation for charity and it was a charitable act, so you should now have a free health potion to carry around in your person. Inspiration, some sage advice from Roz Grey Purse, and out of the Lucky Dip there is the chance to pull the a very, very special one, which means that if you draw this particular card out of the Lucky Dip, you will win one of the only D8 Dungeon t-shirts available to non-D8 Dungeon people. So all of the cast in Romancing the Dungeon and Beyond Horizon's Edge have t-shirts. And then you will be one of only, I think 15 people? 12 people? The numbers are, there's too many shows.
Super
exclusive. It's too hard to count. But yes, you will be one of a very, very small crew boasting those t-shirts. Outside of that, there will be tons of other merch, and that's just us. AdventureCon is also boasting I think there's over 60 games across different systems, so many different workshops and panels taking place all over the 2 days. It's in the Loch Ray Hotel in Galway, and it takes place Saturday and Sunday. Tickets are still available, and when you book a ticket, you are able to book a place at a game on either of those days, depending on what day you buy your ticket. So do check them out at VentureCon. They're, again, a quick, I will just throw it into the chat so it's there, in case anyone's looking for the spelling of it. But that's at Venture. One last thing to mention, and then we can dive into the story. And I swear I will shut up and we will actually do some role playing. We've another, because it's D8 Dungeon, why wouldn't we have another stupid show? We have another show starting this Thursday. And I'm really, really excited about it because it's what happens when two people who never stop talking about TTRPGs and other stuff smash their brains together and go, do you know what would be really fun? What if we made this a talk show based on daytime TV talk shows like Loose Women meets the Stephen Colbert Show meets Dungeons and Dragons. So Ben from Homebrew Quest and D8 Dungeon and I, every second Thursday, we'll be running Ben and Declan on a roll, where we will be discussing all the latest news in TTRPG spheres. We'll be doing interviews, and we have an amazing interview with 3 of the DMs from Emerald Collective joining us on Thursday to talk about their work. Every episode is based around a theme. There'll be tips and tricks, plenty of discussion, and we will be drawing from chat to help with some prompts and their own thoughts and opinions on stuff as we maneuver through it. So you can check us out this Thursday over here on Twitch from 7:30. And that's it. Oh, and there's a new episode of Romancing the Dungeon out on Friday too. Because, again, 3 things in 1 week. Don't say we don't spoil you. And that's not to mention Random DMs is returning and Safe and Grace Season 2. Also, I'm trying to get married somewhere in the middle of all that too. Married, the wedding.
No pressure.
No pressure. It'll be fine. We'll be grand. We'll survive. Okay. Are we good?
Yes.
Everybody good? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So let's dive into it. Our adventure, as I mentioned at the start, if you can remember, somewhere in the middle of that rant, I did say our adventure is taking place a couple of years before our current campaign and the current story that we are all telling together. And Diara, Mooney, and Annam, it's been a particularly long winter cycle, and with life in the guild, for each of you've been here all kind of roughly around the same amount of time, having come here for your own reasons. You have kind of found yourselves grouped together. Byron Oakshield, the guild master, a rather sprightly red, if not peppery grey beard, has kind of taken it himself to pair up or group up the folks that he feels best complement each other's styles and techniques. You find yourselves grouped with a fourth, a young dwarven man by the name of Regiment, who following again, the memory isn't quite clear, and even to this day, when you all try and recall it, you're not really sure where the idea for a Bard's contest / arm wrestling competition came from. You can all kind of point the finger at Regiment, as it does feel like a Regiment-based idea, that not only would you be in a song contest, but you'd be arm wrestling while you perform. The 3-day event saw not a single champion crowned, several shoulders dislocated, 2 wrists shattered, not to mention 3 windows of the old Mayor Tavern and the front door blasted wide open after somebody accidentally cast Shatter. Um, we're not we're not quite sure. We're not quite sure, but the owners have effectively barred Regiment and the guild from entering until all repairs have been carried out. Regimond's suspension from the bar will be on a rolling a month basis. But for the guild itself, once repairs have been carried out, the sisters have agreed to allow you all to return. That said, as you awaken the next morning, the again with the guild so busy, with so many people here wanting to be part of Byron's aim and learn from the great master himself, the 4 of you do find yourselves cooped up in very, very cramped conditions. You are bunkmates with nothing more than just a kind of a very heavy curtain drawn as a divide between Mooney and Diara's side, Annam and Regimond's side. You have a couple of tall wooden lockers to store your belongings and personal items in. Each of you has a small kind of basin and little seating area, but that is it, and your cot. The 3 of you are awoken by the guttural whistlings that emanate from Regimond. Not his usual song that he seems to be wheezing out of his throat and sinuses this morning. This sounds a bit laboured. This sounds a bit unwell. And as the 3 of you rise, you all kind of hear Regimond mumbling to himself, Get a doctor, get a healer. Like, I'm dying.
Tiara.
I'm right here. You don't have to shout.
Oh, sorry, other Tiara.
Yeah.
You are a healer, correct?
No, actually, I'm not very good at healing. I could just, I do know someone though that might be able to do something about it.
It's only Regiment. It's okay if you're not very good. I don't think he's well.
No, I can get this person here. Hang on. Diara,
Yes.
are you good at healing? I think you are. I think that's kind of your thing, isn't it?
I mean, kind of. Who? What? Is somebody stabbed?
Oh, my guts.
I think he's dying. I think I think we might as well, pay our final respects to him, and then go get
It
breakfast.
smells like he is dying.
I know.
I think that's just food poisoning.
I didn't eat any
To be
food.
honest.
Well, that's your problem, isn't it?
Reggie,
You're
you never
starving to
stop
death.
eating food.
Oh, I've got a fever.
You want a sandwich? I might have one in my pocket.
Can I do a medicine check
You
on him?
can. I'm going to give Reggie a con save. Oh boy.
Death saving roll.
That's the first death saving throw for no. He does. Dyer, as you kind of, are you top bunk or bottom bunk?
I would probably be top.
Okay. As you kind of swing your legs out from over the bed and down, and you slip down the other side, you do see kind of other Diara, kind of like just kind of running their fingers through their hair a little bit, and like just sort of like setting kind of themselves about. They still haven't got out of bed. Like they've just been kind of talking up at you from under the mattress, kind of straight through. And kind of peering behind the curtain, you do see Annam, this scraggly sort of young man, kind of like just these long, reddish brown, rusty brown kind of curls and wavy hair just sort of droop down. He kind of looks up at you as he's kind of peering down into Regimond's bed. And there is just this large blocky figure, just draped in. That is your dressing gown. And every blanket and any kind of piece of fabric that he can find to just cover himself, and he's just shivering. What you got in your medicine check?
18.
He's grand. I mean, he's a bit pale and he's a bit sweaty. He's hungover.
Is this your first time drinking alcohol? Mm-hmm.
No. No.
Do you normally take things that don't belong to you when you're sober?
And he kind of looks. What are you talking about?
And she gestures at her dressing gown.
That was probably other Diara, and he points up at the top bunk.
No, I already tried that.
There is only one. There is only one Diara. Me. That is mine. Give it.
Okay. And he does go to hand it to you. I'm gonna give him. I don't think he's that great. No, God, I've rolled 2 8s in a row. He goes to kind of no, I don't want to. But what you see him doing, and he tried to be kind of sneaky about it. He has just cleaned a little bit of sick out of his beard with it, because there's just something there in his beard. It's kind of caught in the whiskers and it's a little matted, and he lets it slip from his hands. I've got cat whiskers fever.
You know the thing
No.
where somebody pulls a tablecloth out from under everything and it leaves it all on the table? Can I
Yeah.
grab the dressing gown and just...
Yeah. Give me just give me an athletics check. I really hope this goes wrong.
26.
God damn it, I was hoping it was going wrong. You expertly, it's that thing of he's got so many layers. There is a tablecloth. There is actually a tablecloth belonged to the old mayor just sitting there. So you are kind of rifling through the belongings a little bit, Anam, and you manage to get a hold of the dressing gown, and you pull kind of from his grip, and his little hands are already looking for the next thing, and he does appear to have stolen one of Eileen Cypress's housecoats as well, but that he's wearing. He's kind of now buried himself into it again, and he's just shivering. Can one of you get me some hot honey tea? And he's just shaking.
Sorry, I was writing in the
No,
notes.
Yara's just going to look at Anna.
I can go and do it, of course. Is it just hot honey that you're looking for, or anything else?
Some hot honey tea, please. Other Diara.
Yeah. Do you want a hug?
No, I this is highly contagious.
Okay, so I'll go and get you some hot honey tea and then probably not come back because you're contagious. But I'll probably give it to somebody else and then they can give it to you, someone who's a wee bit more disposable. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, give it to
Somebody's-
Diara. And he kind of rolls over. Nobody here likes me. And he's just shivering and feeling sorry for himself.
Then he's gonna cast Mage Hand and just pat him on the back. And it's gonna stay there and just pat him.
Yeah, he is cooing. He's literally in the same way that a child needs, that little hand kind of rubbing their back a little bit. He's now kind of the mage hand is kind of patting and giving just a very gentle sort of rub and a reassuring squeeze. It's all timed. It's like pat, rub, pat, squeeze, rub, and it follows that pattern.
Love it.
Yeah. What's everybody else doing at this point? I think I've captured Regiment perfectly, by the way. I don't know.
What?
Emma who?
Yeah. So Mooney, as you kind of ready yourself and head out to get the hot honey tea, Diara and Annam, what are you doing?
Adam puts his hand over Reggie as if he's gonna pat him, and then kind of hesitates and just walks out of the room.
Yeah, Diara will and follow the others out.
Okay. As you head out, again, we've passed through winter, and we're now kind of into spring, and it's a little bit brighter each morning as you ready for the day, and you kind of go to set about yourself, and you look to Byron for any work. With that change in season, there started to come a few more jobs, and a number of them have gone to more senior or experienced adventurers within the guild. You kind of find yourselves waiting to see if Byron has anything for you, but in the last couple of weeks, there hasn't been much other than training. You were sort of in that limbo where you have experience, but you're not experienced enough to go out on the big missions, nor are you experienced enough to start mentoring new recruits. You are neither lacking experience to be considered new recruits, so you're stuck there in middle management, kind of waiting for an opportunity, waiting for something to open, waiting for something to happen to take you to that next stage. So as the three of you head out and you go to look for, you go to fetch hot honey tea for our ailing regiment, you do find that the guild is a little quiet, even this early in the morning, and there isn't any sign of Byron. There's nobody in the dining hall save for a couple of brand new recruits who, on seeing the three of you kind of enter, all kind of turn. One awkwardly gives like a captain's salute, and two tiefling girls, they're identical twins, just start laughing at him. And then he goes bright red in the face and he squats down really low and he's just so embarrassed. Mrs. Sapras comes out a moment or two. She looks as old as she does right now in the current campaign. The woman has not aged a day. She was born this old. But as she kind of comes out, she's kind of tutting to herself and she's shaking her head. And then she kind of just gestures, well, there's breakfast there. Go on. And she's put out just a couple of very... they're not burnt. Eileen doesn't burn food, but they are a little on the darker side. Just spiced breakfast rolls. And you can see that there's kind of fairly thick slabs of a cured meat in it, and there's a plate of seasonal vegetables, slightly sort of steamed, and then right in the middle of the table there's just a big pot of oats that is being stirred magically.
Miss Sapras. Hi.
I've told you how many times. I don't. There's no. This isn't a restaurant. This isn't a tavern. You're not getting anything special.
I know I don't want anything special. It's just Redmond is not feeling very well, and he sent me to get him some hot honey tea. And I was wondering, after the last time I went into the kitchen, it didn't work out so well. So I was wondering if you could maybe go and get me some hot honey tea that I could maybe give the regiment, and there'd be absolutely no scandal involving chickens this time.
See, that's where you and I differ, Mooney. You say they were chickens. I say they were giant rats. I
know, but they had the wee beaks drawn on their faces, so what difference does it make?
Right, what exactly is it that Regiment has? Because we're not getting into this morning. I've too much on, and the whole village is in an up. What? Hot honey tea because he's sick. What's wrong with him?
I think he's dying, to be
Oh,
honest.
Jesus. There can only be hope.
Can I have some
Just
tea?
behind. Adam's just doing a
She's looking at you and she's just. Well, I mean, I'm not one to judge an marathon like that, but maybe you should have a bit of breakfast before you hit the sauce. God's names. I don't know what Byron's dragging up and calling himself an adventurer these days, but bar be it for me to judge. Right, hot honey tea, fine. That I can do. Does his lordship want it on a plate? Shall I bring it on my hands and knees to him?
That'd be actually really good because it'll save me the trouble of going up there and catching whatever he has. I was going to actually go and ask that wee Sultan weirdo over there, but
That's actually a great idea.
I know,
You
listen.
lad, and she barks at him with all the authority that Byron has over guild members, and this woman just works here. And he immediately he stops, and he's is a half orc young fella of about 19. He stops, turns, and just immediately, again, whole body just goes stiff as a board, and he just salutes Eileen Sapras. Ma'am, yes, ma'am. And the two girls are just like, one of them just spits her oats right into his belly, like she just can't. And then the other one is just barreled over in laughter as well at the sight of that, and then her sister spewing her breakfast all over him. The two are on the floor laughing. Eileen is just, the tip of her tongue, if it pushed any harder through her front teeth, it would knock them out. And she says this through her teeth and through her tongue. I am making that absolute lump of an oaf a cup of tea. It'll steep for exactly 3 minutes. You are to bring it to him. I don't want any questions. I don't want any chicken rats. I don't want anybody coming into the kitchen. Great. Wonderful. Right. And she starts to go, has anybody seen that absolute oaf of a husband of mine? And she kind of just walks back into the kitchen and goes to set about to make tea for Regiment. The half orc has kind of followed her. On seeing him about to enter, and just nobody comes in, and he stops at the threshold and is now sort of at a very sort of dutiful guardship stance. What are you doing?
Diara's just sitting eating a breakfast roll.
Just sit down, eating a breakfast roll.
Watching, waiting for the calamities.
Adam is trying to get a conversation going and just keeps bringing up different subjects, but never actually going anywhere with them.
I heard we're getting very expensive new training dummies. That's exciting.
What's wrong with the ones that we had?
They were very breakable. New ones, very expensive.
Ooh, that's lovely. I hear that we're getting some new books in the library because I kind of gave all the other ones away. Which I thought was supposed to be the purpose of a library at the end of the day, that you give the books away. I didn't know you were supposed to bring them back.
Oh, yeah. That's not your fault.
No, it's the entire industry. It doesn't make any sense.
They should have signed up.
I know, or kept some sort of record in place or something. Like a big massive catalogue, telling you what books we had and where they could be found, and some sort of decimal system. But oh well.
Just out of canon's sake, the library does have that system. Membership is only available to members of the guild. And all of this would have been explained to Mooney, who either didn't hear, didn't listen, or didn't understand. And yes, that will make for a fun one-shot. But as the three of you, Diara not saying much, just sort of letting the other two talk about training dummies and new books. You were kind of wondering why Byron. Again, you've gone on some missions together and you work well together, but this is a strain. Outside of guild membership, the four of you have little to nothing in common. And as that thought kind of begins to cement itself into your conversation, into your reality, into your thought, the door of the guild hall swings open and you can hear it. And outside in the hallway, you can just hear Byron. Everybody out.
We're having breakfast.
What's outside?
Okay, if you're up and you could hear me, you need to meet me in the lobby right now. There's an emergency.
I know, but we're giving him tea and he'll be fine.
There's possibly two emergencies. One I know of, and Mooney, you can fill me in on that other one.
Mooney, yes.
And then I get up and leave. I run.
That's my name. When he gets up, she brings the porridge oats with her.
The two tiefling girls are also kind of they've come out as well, and the half orc is like, am I getting the tea or am I going out to that? And he's kind of now doing that weird shuffle between both. And a number of other recruits, some of you would know, some of you would have either worked with in the past, you'd know from around the guild hall, and just would even kind of from adjacent rooms to yours, have all kind of emerged, either having followed Byron in or are busy restocking the library. There's a couple all kind of gathered, in essence about 18 to 20, including Byron, all kind of standing there. Okay, whatever you'd planned today, training or anything like that, you put it to one side. Okay, the villagers need us.
Minnie puts her hands up.
Yes, Minnie?
What if I didn't have anything planned for today? Does it all sort of cancel each other out? Am I going to be stuck here doing nothing?
If you've nothing planned for... What about your trade? Why aren't you helping to restock the library?
I don't know. There's loads of books in there already. There's like at least 3 of them.
There's at least 3 of them left. Now,
Yeah.
if you've nothing on, that's even better. Now, we'll get to that another time. But there's an emergency in the village. Wait, no. What emergency were you talking about?
Richmond, he's dying.
He's just hungover.
No, dwarves don't get hungover.
Well, this one does.
Oh, I've. Is he all sweaty?
No more than usual.
Oh, okay. Is he shivering?
Yeah.
Has he got a little sick?
Mm-hmm.
Is he quite smelly?
Always.
Cat's whiskers fever. My ex-wife, again, any time after a bout of drinking, she'd just come down with that after a couple of days. Chronic, absolutely chronic amongst them. Weirdly, only specific to dwarves. Cat's whiskers fever. Always follows heavy bouts of drinking, but not a hangover.
Right, just very similar symptoms.
Well, that's fine. He'll be grand. He'll bear you through. It's just something hot, greasy, and it'll be fine. Just shove it into some rolls, and he'll be grand in a couple of hours. We actually have an actual emergency, and I need all available hands to help.
The little mage hand comes out the window.
Yeah, it is sweaty and it smells like regiment.
No.
As the mage hand kind of floats in, Byron kind of just looks across all of you. There's a little girl after going missing in the village. She's gone a couple of hours. I need all available hands. There's already a couple of search parties. And he kind of points to the newer recruits. I'm going to need, and he kind of gestures at them, I'm going to need the lot of you to fan out from here and go looking across the grounds, up into the glade, Not too far, mind you. She couldn't have gone. She's literally 6 years old. She couldn't have gone off the other side of the mountains. We'll be grand. Little girl answers to Maisie. You probably have seen her around the place. Oh, she's an absolute petal. Oh, she's a gorgeous little wee thing. Half human, half elf. She's absolutely pretty. Oh, she has her mother's curls, her father's eyes, and just the adorable little cheeks. Red hair, answers to Maisie. You can't miss her. Okay. And then he's kind of looking around. Okay. Daira, Mooney, and Annam. Grant. I need you to come back down to the village with me. You're he kind of looks around. You're probably the most senior after the others. Oh god, they're all out. Right. Okay. So I'm going to need the three of you to help me coordinate and get to the bottom of this. So everybody else, off you go. And they are like that. Half orc comes out with his tea, and he kind of goes running to Redwin's room, throws it in the door at him. And comes running down, given that there's an actual emergency. There's a loud groan that the three of you can definitely hear from the room. And again, the newer recruits rush out the doors. Byron goes into the dining hall, takes a bread roll with a chunk of meat in it, and again, scuffs his boots against the door. Right. Is it ready? Great. Okay. And you saunter off with him. Now he's got a bit of a pace, a bit of pep to his step. So we'll get there. Ye can chat to a few people, see if anybody knows anything. Now, chances are the little girl just wandered off herself. You know, you children that age, they're precocious little things. Sure, I was always going missing, and half the time I wasn't even missing. My mum just put me in a bag. And just put me down somewhere. Sure. One time I didn't even know where I was, and I looked out of the bag, and we were like,
You're wasting time.
right, okay, well, I'll save that for the time.
You're brave.
Me?
There's work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll have a chat with the walls. They've not the actual walls, Tara. Mrs. Wall, she runs the shop. We would be using the tavern, but somebody blew up half the furniture.
Regiment.
It's coming out of your group's pay, by the way. And we can discuss that another time. We're using the shop as a bit of a base. Daira, why don't you come with me? You're very good now talking to Mrs. Wall. She's always said she's got great time for you now. So you come with me and you can talk to the walls with me. And Annam and Mooney, you strike me as two people who'd be very, very good now at interrogating and a bit of investigating. So you have a chat with some of the locals, and we'll meet back in a few minutes. As you're making your way down into the village, it is a really bright and fresh morning in spring. But for the fact that the village is on alarm that a little girl has gone missing, this is one of those mornings that, again, nobody ever really takes stock of the sky or the light or the air or the coolness of it unless you're in that mood. And it does strike each of you that this is one of those days where it's just a wonderful morning. Like, it rained the night before, but it's not raining now. There's a coolness to the air. There's just a wonderful brightness in the sky, and it is just this wonderfully iridescent blue. There are still a couple of strands of clouds sparse across the skyline, but with a gentle breeze, those are kind of dissipating, and you can kind of still smell the rainwater clinging to the grass and the leaves. You can hear it dripping. And as you make your way into the center of the village, you do see that there are crowds of people. Some are coming in to kind of say, "No, we've checked that corner there, and there's nothing out by those fields." And they're all gathered around the hole in the wall, the wall's local shop. And as you as you all kind of enter in, people are kind of, oh, it's Byron. He's got some, and people are. There's kind of the crowd seems to settle a little bit now that Byron and guild members have arrived, and immediately now, Annam and Mooney. Byron just gives you kind of a couple of signals. He just does a little bit of this, a little bit of this, eyes, and he's now dragging Diara towards and he's pulling you to the crowd, Diara.
Okay, no,
We're the walls. We're going to the walls now. You no, she gives me the absolute terrors. So you do a lot of the talking here, and I'll sit back and watch and supervise, and I'll jump in if I feel like you need a bit of support. So off you go now, and he's kind of now pushing you in.
she's looking over her shoulder at the betrayal, and it's just like,
Okay. So, while Diara has a meeting with Destiny, Annam and Mooney, what are ye doing following Byron's wonderful instructions?
Do you know the good guard, bad guard routine?
I do, but to be perfectly honest, I was too busy thinking about these training dummies. Like, how big are they going to be? Are they going to be like Furbolg size?
Depends how big the Furbolg is.
Like, a standard issue Furbolg size, like 7 foot.
I've never met a Furbolg.
I'm a
That sounds
Furbolg.
big.
What do you mean you've never met a Furbolg?
I thought it was a condition. No, we should talk to people.
Alright, do you want to be the good one, or do you want to be the bad one?
You'll be good, and I'll.
You just, tell me where she is, or I'm gonna kill you. And I'll put
Oh.
your body where I put hers. Ha! Surprise! I did it.
Maybe you should be the bad guard. Oh,
Oh, I don't want to be the
you're
bad
very good
one.
at this.
Well,
I
we'll
have a
both
sense,
be
a
bad.
deep sense.
Like, they'll never see it coming. It'll be like a bad guard.
Bad guard, worse guard.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah.
Okay, pick someone.
I don't know. It's too much pressure. Maybe I should be the good one.
This is one of Byron's deepest regrets in life. I can already tell. Let's just pick like the closest person who looks like they're not engaged in conversation.
Hey, you.
Okay. So pick a number between 1 and 4.
We can roll a dice for
You
this.
can roll a dice for it. Why did I just let you pick a random number when you could just roll a dice for it? Yes, sorry. That mechanic thing that we have here.
Number 2.
Number 2. Okay, number 2. 1 second. Okay. Oh god. Okay. So, we will set this up, and then we're going to turn to Diara and Byron. But Annam and Mooney, as you sort of hatch a plan for some reason, because I said the word interrogate when I probably should have just said talk to people, you now have taken it literally, and you have singled out on a woman. There's this old halfling woman at the edge of. She's kind of just. She seems to be kind of flitting between people. Like, she's not saying anything, just kind of totting and nodding, listening. She seems to be picking up lots of tidbits from it. And then she eyes the pair of you, and she, like, again, it is one of those things where she kind of turns, and, like, her left eye does that thing where it kind of bulges a little bit, as if to be like, oh, I see this. And, like, that is her party trick. Like, she's able to somehow bulge that left eye. She's a small, withered, wispy waif of a halfling woman. Wearing, again, weirdly enough, dressed the way Regimen was when you left him. Like, you're not sure if this is Regimen's ghost from the future or past appearing in front of you, but with the shawls and the kind of the lumpy nature of her frame, she does She kind of sees the two of you staring at her. Well, what are you gawking at?
Did you kill her? Is she dead? Where'd you put the body?
Don't make us hurt you.
Answer me!
You broke him.
We are much bigger than you.
We're so much bigger. Like, we could, we could hang you up to dry, like, quite literally. And they'll never be able
But
to
we
get
won't.
you down.
If you cooperate.
Oh my god! I have no idea.
Come on, time is of the essence. We want to find a wee
Oh,
girl, not an old
dear.
lady at this rate.
Okay. Give me an intimidation check with advantage. You're looking to beat a 13.
Jesus Christ tonight. 19.
Right. The two of you, it is that thing of like one leans in, it's like, did you kill her? Where's the body? And then immediately, without giving her a chance to even react, Annam, you are in with your line of questioning, and now it's just as intimidating. It's just not as intimidating as the worser cop is, or the worser guard, and she like if it didn't seem humanly or halflingly possible, but she almost seems to shrink a little bit under the towering menace of Annam and Mooney. For the record, this woman is going to speak ill of the pair of you for the rest of her days, and how you intimidated a frail, tiny, helpless. She's also hated in the village, but she paints a worse picture of the pair of you. And it is that thing where you've only kind of seen her in passing, but Eileen did warn you very early on not to be telling her anything. She's the town gossip. She's the village gossip. Again, it's a thing of her name. I know her name. She's Gertrude McCarthy. Gertie to her friends, so just Gertrude, because she has no friends. And it is that thing where you've got a you have her with a what, 16 cat
19.
Yeah, she's gonna spill the beans, and her lip is quivering a little bit. But we turn to Diara and Byron, and they're in the middle of the hole in the wall, the shop here in Canuck. You encounter the Mrs. Wall, currently sort of like that, walking around offering people a tray with some biscuits, and next to it there is a small little bowl with copper pieces in it. Because heaven forbid she'd actually give people free biscuits and tea during the search party. But Byron kind of eyes her, and she kind of points you at her. No, off, Diara. That's you know Mrs. Wall now. Off.
Mrs. Wall? Sorry to
It's
disturb
3
you.
copper pieces for a biscuit, 5 copper pieces for a cup of tea, 8 copper pieces for a cup of tea and a biscuit.
That's so charitable. of
You're
you.
very welcome.
I'm actually not here for refreshments. I was wondering if you could tell us more about this missing child. Have you heard anything about what happened?
As in, have I heard where she is?
If you know where she is, that would be helpful. But
Well, if I
I'm
knew where
very
she
curious.
is, and sorry, who are you again?
Diara. I work at the guild with Byron.
Oh. That one. Oh, I know what you're looking for. He's not here.
Who?
He's out with one of the search parties. I don't need you now being around here distracting him. Okay, this is good experience for him now. He'll be back later. You can talk to him later on. I'm not telling you where he is. You can ask me all the questions you want. I am not telling you where my Bernie is. He's out there risking life and limb to find that little girl, young lady. And I won't have you distracting him. He'll be captain of the guard one day. And he doesn't need the likes of you now sniffing round him, taking him down. I won't have it. I won't have it.
Okay.
I won't have
You
it.
caught
No.
me. I
knew it. I knew it.
couldn't resist.
The bang of desperation off of you. Well, no,
Yeah.
not today. Now, there's a
So
little girl missing.
anyway, yeah, about the little girl. Was she with friends? Was she wandered off by herself? Like, what happened?
Well, and she kind of leans in a little bit. I'm not one to talk. Jesus, I won't be having said that I said that now. But sure, everybody knows it's common knowledge. This isn't a case of Gertrude now just making up stories. Oh,
Of course.
the absolute drivel she was spouting on. Like, useless. Absolute. And she told everybody she had vital information and she knew all sorts. Oh, the absolute lies out of her mouth. Oh, she was. I wouldn't take a grain of what she said for truth. But you, do you know Maisie? Would you know Maisie?
Yeah, little half elf, red hair, absolute cute as a button.
Yeah, that'd be her now. But that's her mother and father over there. And she gestures over to a half elf man and a human woman. And they are like, the woman is kind of like, her eyes are red from crying. The man's are just as red from crying. And he's kind of, they're both just kind of holding each other and consoling each other. There's a couple of people kind of around them, trying to kind of mind them and take care of them. Well, they put her to bed last night, and all talks of it is when they woke up in the morning, she was gone. Not a sign of her. Gone, just poof, into the thin air now.
So she was taken during the night.
Well, look, I don't know. She's just, they put her to bed, she's not there.
And what did Gertrude say?
Oh, and she rolls her eyes. And as she does that, you're not going to believe this. In through the door, you just hear, and you're going to have, and she just shoves you out of the way. Bernard! Oh, he's probably found her. My Bernie. Bernard! And she's going, and he immediately shrinks. Like as his mother calls his name. But in behind him, there is a rather well-built tiefling, kind of dressed in waders and a patchwork shirt, tousled sandy grey hair, and just two short sort of ram horns, and a tail kind of wisping behind him. He looks exhausted. So does Bernard. Bernard locks his eyes on you, Diara, and he just lights up when he sees you. And as you kind of, as Mrs. Wall sort of swoops her arms around Bernard, again, people are like, is there any sign of her at all? And again, Bernard is shaking his head, and the tiefling just says, no, there, I can't even get a trace on the pig. And we cut back to our bad cop, worst cop, as Anam and Mooney, you have begun your extensive interrogation of Gertrude. Well, I'm not one now for telling tall tales, and I can only tell you what I know. I can only tell you what I know and what I heard. Okay. that little one, Maisie. Now, folks don't like me saying it. They get very upset when I say it. But she was always talking to nobody. She was always talking to people that weren't there. She was always talking to the imaginary things. And sure, I happened to say one day, a couple of days ago, that she's always talking to the fairy folk. Oh, next thing you know, I'm the pariah of Canuck. I'm putting curses on a little girl. I'm the one welcoming him in the fae, huh? Well, I wasn't doing any of that sort. I just happened to see her always talking to herself. And that absolute little piglet she's hanging out with these days. But she's always been a strange one. Nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to talk bad about a little 6-year-old girl. But I'll say it. She was a little weirdo. She was a little odd. She was a little strange. Always talking to herself.
Are you sure she was always talking to herself? Or maybe she was just talking to the pig and the pig was hiding?
Oh,
pigs are shy.
She only got the pig about a week ago. No.
Oh.
No, she only got that little pig about a week ago. She got that from, what's his name? Do you know that? Oh, Grimbleberry, the farmer. And she gestures.
Grimbleberry.
She gestures at, oh, there, that fella there. And she points to a tiefling walking into the shop. She got it. They bought it from him.
Maybe the pig did it. Like Mooney says to Annam.
I cannot interrogate an animal, can you?
I can interrogate the shit out of that pig.
Let's find the pig.
You talk to pigs, do you?
I'm not even.
I was going to say something really mean.
You should say it.
No, that was too much cat coming
out. Are you just walking off and leaving Gertrude? She's still talking to herself, and sure, they say every 500 years, and then that's the tail end of the conversation that you hear as she starts spouting off. And again, nobody is paying her any mind. No one's paying her any heed. But you walk in to see Bernard Wall, a local youth, and the sort of shop steward here in the local shop that his mom owns, kind of being thrown into a chair and being doted upon by his mother. She's making him a hot cup of tea. She's handing him some biscuits. You notice, Diara, actually, that she had the biscuits that Bernard gets are not the same biscuits that are on the tray. His have little dried jam in them, and she sort of like slides a few into his hand, and one she's already kind of putting into his mouth. She's kind of like broken a piece off of it. You need to get your sugars up, Bernard. You need to get your sugars up. Now, everybody give him a bit of room. He's exhausted. He's been out all morning now. Himself and Grimbleberry there, probably no use. And Diara, you watch as Annam and Mooney enter the shop. Now, it is packed in here. You are all sort of shoulder to shoulder, sort of wedged in on top of each other.
He did it. She points at Grimbleberry.
I did what?
What?
You hurt the girl, didn't you? You sold her a pig that was probably poisoned, and she pet the pig, and then she died. And then you took the body, and then you killed the pig because the pig was the only witness.
What?
Everybody is staring in utter do you want to give me like a persuasion check on this?
Persuasion.
I mean,
with advantage because I'm giving the help action.
Oh no, you can't because it's a natural one.
I was going to tell you that the DC to convince everybody was a 30, but on a nat 1. I mean, everyone always thought you were a bit aloof and kooky, but this is the beginning. This is the beginning of Mooney the eccentric, Mooney the magnanimous, Mooney the oddball.
Can I just butt in with an absolute tangent?
Yes, tangent away.
The two furbolgs in the story are Mooney and Sunny.
Yeah.
Was that on purpose? Moon, Sun?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just...
Sorry. Anyway, continue.
This is
Excellent
me.
lighting. Whoa.
And that's
it's not
the end
an
of our
endearing
campaign. Yeah, everybody's looking at you, Mooney, with like it's just there is awkward silence, and Grimbleberry kind of just looks around. I don't raise poisonous pigs. That I know of, and I Maisie was lovely, like the sweetest little girl, and he kind of starts to choke up a little bit. And yeah, you're right. I sold him. I sold him. She calls him Bessie, but I sold them Bert about a week ago. But no, she loved the little piglet, and Bessie loved Maisie, and he kind of looks over at her parents, and then kind of rather than kind of drawing them into it, he kind of just kind of nods along. I took Bernard out towards the doctor's woods, a little way, and he kind of gestures, kind of north, between Hain and Doe, the two hills, two of the three hills. Yeah, the two hills in Canuck, and we went some way away, but we didn't see anything. Like there's no sign of her or Bessie. And then someone kind of pipes up, "Well, why did you take them out there?" That was just kind of a question. And he goes, "Well, on account, we've all heard. Well, I suppose you wouldn't have given the 3 days of partying in the old mare." And he kind of just clears his throat. A couple of hunters have said they spotted a small band of goblins, and I thought maybe, but there wasn't even a sign of them. And now we didn't go too far on account of I've a headache.
Insight
And
check.
I hear this.
Yeah, no, everybody can kind of hear it. Yeah.
Can I insight
Yes,
check?
yeah, you can.
Headache. I don't believe you. +1. Oh, natural 20.
He's 100% lying, Mooney, and the entire time he's lying, he's staring at Bernard, and you see that Bernard has gone red in the face.
Oh, they're
And
roommates.
Diara, he's still kind of beside her, right?
Yes, yeah.
She's gonna just kind of look up at him and put a hand on his arm, trying not to recoil, and say, "What happened?"
My stomach is a bit.
What?
I think I ate something bad last night.
Did you eat the wee girl? Is that it?
Again, there was a moment where everybody here was like, Bernard turned around a search party because he possibly has diarrhea, and they thought that was going to be one of the worst things they would hear today. But then Mooney just pipes in with, "Is it because you ate the little girl?" And suddenly Bernard's potential diarrhea, not that big of a deal. And he leans into you, Diara, kind of half whispering. I'm really embarrassed. We didn't even get halfway into the woods.
It's okay. We can continue the search. You get yourself after. And she pats him on the arm and slowly moves away.
Yeah, like just as you go to kind of take your hand away, he kind of just gently puts his other hand on yours, and he just mouths, "Thank you for understanding." And you hear his stomach just go.
She gags and quickly turns away.
You are going to go... So you're going to form your own search party and go into the woods? Okay.
Yes.
Byron kind of follows the three of you out. Okay, so you're going to go north into the Doctor's Woods. Right, I'll stay here then and run reconnaissance on everything. And I'll hang tough. If I hear of anything, I'll send word for you. If you hear it and come back, obviously with the little girl, that'd be great. And good luck. And he kind of just like that up at you. You know, you got to put a bit more into it.
Should we go?
And you're gonna head into. You're just gonna. Okay. What are you all doing to try and pick up any trail or track? You know Maisie is a half elf and she's 6 years old. So if she has wandered into the woods, there should be footprints or something. You know that she's in the company of her pig, Bessie, as there is no sign of the little piglet around. So there should be pig tracks or little piglet tracks next to her in some shape or form. What skills are you using or abilities are you using to help track our missing little girl?
Mooney is going through her spell book. She's going to go through she's going to find the story about the three little pigs, but she's not actually going to cast any spells. She's just using the pictures to refamiliarize herself on pigs, so she might have the upper hand against this poison pig.
I love the idea of Mooney just rifling through the spell book. Again, Annam and Diara kind of went, oh wow, here's this wizard, rifling through an ancient tome, doing research as we move through these imposing and oftentimes dangerous woods. Look at how focused they are. Only for Mooney to go, look, a pig, and just show them a picture of a storybook with a pig in it.
Look at this one.
Yeah. And you've drawn, you've just used a little bit of ink to give him a really kind of surly, kind of angry expression on his face.
Oh yeah, with the red ink over magical quill,
yes.
just angry eyes. And she'll look out for pig tracks.
Okay.
She's on pig duty.
You're on pig duty. Okay. Annam, what are you doing to help find Maisie?
Staying well out of the way. Useful skills here. Beyond maybe a survival check.
Okay. We can use survival. You can be kind of looking for.
You can blaze the trail.
Yeah.
Staying up front in case there's traps.
Got it. Poisonous pigs are known for laying. And Diara?
I'm gonna try. Would it be a nature check to look for tracks?
Nature or survival?
I have +4.
Okay. So, with Diara doing the nature check, Annam doing a survival check. Kat, you're not doing a check. You're just kind of rifling through the book, but checking out piggies. Okay.
I get advantage on my first attack against a pig.
Fair enough. You will have advantage on your first attack against
pig is
a
not
pig.
the enemy.
We don't know that.
But that is a wonderful spot to take a quick break. And we will be back in 5 minutes to continue our journey through the lost and the found. Or in this case, the lost and the hopelessly lost.
Lost. No, wait, that's the wrong show.
And on that note, we are taking you out. Don't forget to grab a drink. That would be hydrate. Go to the bathroom, stretch, and all those wonderful things. We'll be back in a few minutes. Do check out this wonderful intermission, though. There are some amazing friends of ours at D8 Dungeon and some of the projects that you can check out elsewhere to take a look at. Okay? See you. We'll see you at 5:30. So, quick suspense break.
Bye.
Hi, we're Horde of Tales. We're an EU-based actual play Twitch channel. We have a long-form D&D campaign.
You may note us as One,
two,
two,
three.
three.
The plane
Plane
jumpers.
diver. No.
Divers?
How did we mess this up?
And we're the new home of the EU Happy Hour.
Look, I placed them down where I thought they would be. I didn't say it was right.
We often have short-term flights that you can be a part of.
I have never heard or read a Regency era love letter that sounded more like a booty call than that.
It's open to interpretation.
Come add to our collection at twitch.tv/Horde of Tales.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to the latest episode of Social Shenanigans.
You haven't seen any cows, have you?
Once.
Going to cast, I'm sorry in advance. I'm going to cast heat metal on the horse's bit.
Oh.
Believed to be Sharp. Sharp kind of pulls herself back and she's like, well, it looks like we have ourselves a game.
And we're back. So
Yay!
hopefully that apologies for the slight delay in coming back. But we are back now, and hopefully the stream is alive and working and functioning, and we're existing. So when we left, Diara, Mooney, and Anam had gone on a search and rescue mission. A little girl by the name of Maisie Riverfield and her pet pig Bessie have gone missing in the middle of the night. They've learned that actually they haven't learned a whole pile, other than that there was potential goblins roaming in the Doctor's Woods, a woodland north of the village of Canuck. And that is where we left everybody. So, just before the break, Diara, you were rolling for a nature check, and Anam, you were giving us a survival check, and Mooney was sharpening up on her pig killing tactics. So, Diara, what did you get on your nature check?
23.
Okay, 23. And Anam, how did you get on with your... Might be muted, I think.
The dice went for a walk. 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is that thing, Anna, where you are kind of uncertain where to go or what you're kind of doing. I mean, you've learned it's a little girl. You know that she has a pig. You've not really. You're kind of replaying what happened in the shop and out in the village square. Over in your mind, kind of going, could that have gone any worse? Potentially, that could have gone worse. I mean, it couldn't. It maybe could have gone worse. That was awkward and weird. Is this again? It's one of the things where you are kind of going, is this what I signed up for? Is this what I've and you are kind of rerunning the scenario in your head, all the while sort of like kind of swiping and slashing at overgrowth and briar and branch. Meanwhile, Dara, as you are stumbling through kind of behind Anam, you are keeping an eye out for tracks. You are looking for anything that could give away either Bessie or Maisie in any shape or form. And it doesn't actually it's not something that you spot immediately. It kind of happens by accident as you see rather you smell, having stepped in it, pig droppings, pig poop.
She kind of just tries to clean her boots off.
Just as an FYI, your camera has frozen. I don't know if it's frozen for everybody else, but you're frozen for me.
It's frozen for me too.
Yeah. If you
trying to fix it.
No. Again, we can hear you clearly. It's just again, and for the record, you are kind of frozen on a great spot because it is just you pensively, sort of like,
I turned it off and now it won't come back on again. in a attempt to reset it, but I will continue to try.
Yeah, you've stepped.
Yeah, so she is just like kind of cleaning her boots off in a tuft of grass. You know, when you're like stealthily trying to not let on that you've just stood in droppings, and is like, yeah, I think they went this way, and kind of gestures at another pile that she sees close by that she didn't step in.
Okay. You've kind of picked up between the kind of the droppings that you have found. You are able to get a sense of the direction the pig was going, and you end up actually going more west than you were north, as you kind of guide Anam and Mooney in that particular direction. And it's only as you kind of move away from this the path that Anam had been kind of carving to you, that you kind of go deeper into the woods and sort of off these worn paths. And the ground here is wetter, and you all kind of find yourself sinking a little bit into the muck. And with that, you have found tracks, and there are pig tracks and what are quite clearly half a dozen other footprints with the pig. Child-sized.
Half a dozen.
Like a pack of children? It's the pig piper.
Was there anyone else missing from the village?
Not that you.
There was no mention.
Learned.
There was mention of goblins
and
They have
fairies.
big-sized feet.
If someone could just hop on a D&D foot wiki and find out what size.
All my spells are shit.
That's a very upsetting thought, because that's out there somewhere. You know that's out there on the internet. You've said it, Richard, and it's now out there in reality. But again, you would all have encountered goblins before, and they do. They're like, they come in all manner of shapes and sizes, but they are generally on the shorter side of things. But again, you have come across the odd goblin that is kind of just under 5 foot tall. But based on what the farmer Grimbleberry had said and what he had heard about a pack of goblins or a band of goblins roaming the woods, and having found the pig tracks, you would hazard a guess that this could possibly be that band of goblins. Are you continuing to follow, or
follow the pig? Follow the pig.
Okay. It doesn't. You don't have to be an expert in tracking. The goblins have not done anything major at this point. They can't. The ground is too mucky, and occasionally you do find the occasional imprint of a goblin where it must have fallen and flattened into the muck and mud. But after a little bit of time has passed, and you can see that it's probably closer to midday now, that there's a faint smell of heavy smoke, kind of catching smoke on the air, drifting towards you. It is a thick, pungent smoke that, to all of you, again, that memory of trying to light a fire with damp logs, and it's sort of choking and smoldering into half existence, kind of comes to mind. We've all been there. We've all done it. We've all failed. But as that smell kind of catches in your nostrils and in the back of your throat, you also hear the faint squeal of a baby pig.
No.
It's coming from the same direction that you had been heading, and there is a slight rise that the smoke is sort of drifting up over as you have been following after the goblins.
Mage armor.
Okay. Mage armor.
Does the pig squeal to Minnie? Does it still sound like a pig squeal to Minnie, or does it sound like words?
No, it just sounded like a pig squeal. It sounded like just a kind of a high-pitched squealing sound.
And he's going to look at everyone else. What are they doing?
Be ready to run ahead, but I suppose I'm hesitating to see if you're both eager to.
Crest over the hill stealthily, trying to get a peek.
Stealth? We're doing stealth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You all need to.
Definitely stealth is.
You need to give me stealth checks, please.
Oh no.
16.
Okay, 16.
Oh, 14.
Okay.
17.
Okay.
Thank you. Plus
I,
8.
I was really hoping somebody would fluff it up. It's in a continuing trend of that is definitely in line with the oddness of the day. Diara, what is like smelling the smoke and hearing the pig squeal? What are you envisioning as you approach the rise here?
I think she's expecting to see like dinner about to happen. So she's like very apprehensive.
Okay, that the goblins are about to eat the pig. Annam, what are you envisioning? What's going through your head as you approach?
These are pig battle cries. This is the pig running into a pig rage. He's probably doubling in size, much like I do. Getting ready to eat the child.
Oh, that's adorable. And Mooney, what's going through your head?
You never see the episode of The Simpsons where Homer is just thinking about like the little band playing the accordion?
My favorite my favorite part of that is Mooney actually has seen that Simpsons episode. She's no idea how, but she has seen it. So that's what's in her head as she's approaching, and the song happens to be the thing that. So it's Inception for Mooney. You are, okay. It's just she's kind of humming a ditty to herself as she's just like, again, squatting kind of low, trying to keep down. But in your case, and even in Annam's, it's a little bit difficult as you kind of drop and kind of get lower. Diara, even here, like it's not like you are not approaching kind of like anything completely kind of covered or shrouded. You are just kind of coming up to kind of a rise in the ground, and again, half expecting to see the pig fighting for its life or the pig about to surrender its life to become lunch or dinner for these goblins. You come across a bunch of goblins, definitely, and the pig is in a large cauldron filled with water and bubbles. And the goblins they're taking turns washing the pig.
They're giving it a bath.
Piggy bath.
Why are they giving the pig a bath?
Oh my God.
The pig has become their leader.
They're washing the poison off of it before they eat it. The pig is a witness. We've got to save it before we hold it accountable for its terrible, terrible crimes.
There's just as the three of you kind of, what's everybody's passive perception, by the way? Just
Oh my God. Oh my God. Where did I even find that out?
15, Dara.
12.
Okay. Oh, 16.
16.
Okay. A left on your character sheet is usually on the left hand. Oh wait, are you using the D&D Beyond?
I know, book. 11.
No, again, Mooney, you are just like, they're washing the poison off the pig. And then Annam and Dyer, you notice kind of just in time, but there's just a little goblin girl just kind of like, she's kind of come up and she's holding a bunch of like wildflowers in her hands. Are pigs poisonous?
What is she saying that to us? Oh, she snuck up on us.
Well, she tried to.
Wow. No.
I mean, this one might be. Hello, what's your name?
Helen.
Are you the girl that we're looking for? Because the field kind of mentioned that you've got a different name and you're, not a half elf.
What?
We're looking for someone called Maisie. Do you know where she is?
Well, I'm Helen. That's Devin. She's
Hi.
She's now just, and like a lot of the goblins are kind of looking up, and a few of them are kind of waving at you.
Yeah.
That's Bevan. There's Kevin. And is this your pig?
Not at the minute,
Oh,
but you know.
Okay, it's not their
Why-
pig.
oh,
Keep washing the pig.
What's wrong with the
Why-
pig apart from the obvious poison?
Okay, stop washing the pig. We need to check and see if he's poisonous.
It's definitely poisonous.
And then one of the goblins was licking the pig, and he's like, I
Oh,
think
no.
my tongue is swelling. And again, all the other kind of goblin kids just kind of start laughing at him. Well, we found the pig, and we need the pig, because you can't go to the Hog Queen's party without a pig. So we have a pig, and now we're gonna get him dressed. And she starts weaving a little kind of flower crown out of the.
Can I help? Can we do this instead of looking for the wee girl? This sounds so much more fun. I want to dress up a pig.
What little girl?
We've been sent on like a wee mission because we've got nothing else to do. There's a wee girl called Maisie. She's got red hair. She's a half elf. She went missing with the pig. The pig probably did it, although I'm still not entirely too sure of what it might have done. I just sort of had an idea and went running with it. Is she dead? Did you kill her?
Who?
The little
There
girl.
wasn't a little girl. We just found the little pig.
Where'd you find the pig?
Over there.
Can we talk to the pig? Can we interrogate the pig?
What?
I can interrogate the pig.
Okay. Where did you find it?
And she just kind of flails at one arm, kind of back towards the woods. He was over there, and he was stuck in the mud. And we found him, and we washed him.
Oh, he was stuck in the mud. Oh, that must have been quite recently then, if it's still in the bath, or this is just a really long bath at this point.
Oh, well, he was really mucky.
Wow.
And we probably do need to wash the poison off of him if you said he's got poison. So we probably let him soak a little bit
Yeah.
longer.
It's like a poison pig. Like a poison pill, but it's pig instead. Can I talk to him?
You're not gonna take him, are you?
No, I'm not really that invested. Well, it's up to him if he, would maybe prefer coming home. Of course, he can't stay here against his will, but at the same time, he is like a fugitive pig at this point, so he probably will have to be extradited for questioning at the very least. Adam, do you want to be the bad cop or like the good one?
I can make some scary faces, but I don't speak pig quite as well.
I do. Everyone can speak pig. You're speaking it right now. It's remarkably similar to common.
Okay, why not?
I am so confused. I heard all of what you just said there, but I have no idea other than the word pig. But you said you're not going to take the pig from us, so okay.
I mean, he's not property at the end of the day. You can't keep him if he doesn't want to be here.
I mean, we can, but she's still trying to whittle the flower crown in her hands together a little bit, and she then just kind of shrugs her shoulders, and you see that she kind of nods to the other kids below, and they kind of part ways, and the pig is just sort of like his little trotters out over the lip of the cauldron, looking around a little bit, like the pig does seem a little startled.
Oh, Minnie's gonna over the pig.
And Anam, are you coming with?
Oh yeah.
And I think Eilish is having technical issues with their stream. So Eilish, if you want to if you do want to disconnect and restart Skype, maybe that can kickstart it. And we're going to leave you making flower crowns with Helen.
Okay.
And we'll see. I'm going to make you roll for that when you come back. See how good of a flower crown you've made. Okay. Mooney and Annam, you approach Bessie the pig. Sort of the front trotters out over the lip of the cauldron, just staring at the pair of you as you approach, and he kind of shrinks back a small bit.
Hi.
Hello. Pig.
What? I'm very confused.
Are you like in a total state of shock after what you did to that poor wee girl? Is this the first time you murdered?
I didn't. Okay. We need to walk this back a little bit. You are, and with his snout, he kind of just gestures at you, Annam, and then at you, Mooney.
God, my face is really big on Skype now. I'm like, oh. We're looking for the wee girl that went missing, and you were the last one seen with her.
Yes, I know the little girl you're talking about. I saw her. Then we got separated in the woods. I'm very sorry. You still haven't actually told me either of your names.
Oh, I'm Minnie, and this is Annam. We're like investigating the most likely, death of this wee girl because, we're actually kind of bored and we're just running at it with this point. Did you do it? Did you kill her? Did you actually kill her though?
I'm sorry. You think I murdered a...
Well, not you, like actually, more like you're like sort of like an accessory to the crime. I actually think Grimbleberry did it.
Oh.
And I don't really have a motive, but I'm just sort of thinking that
And
he's the first name that came up in the investigation, and I thought, you know what, I feel like an early night tonight, so let's just pin it all on him.
Okay, and what in the Seven Hells is a Grimbleberry?
He's the tiefling that sold you, which is actually really weird if you think about it. Can you just sell a pig to someone?
Excuse me, I'm a what?
A pig.
Oh, you're having a joke. Okay, no, whatever this is. No, I'd like to wake up now. I'd like to go home. No, thank you. No, not happening. Not.
We are
no,
pig, though.
No, I don't know.
Literally, actually, look at your little hoofs.
And then it kind of immediately kind of does look. No. I'm having. This is some sort of nightmare. This is some sort of. It's a trick. It's a trick.
You're the wee girl. Grimbleberry turned you into a pig.
I'm sorry.
And then he put you into.
Is there somebody that I can speak? Like, is there somebody in charge? Like, are you just some sort of whimsical moron who just traipses through the woods? First you've accused me of murdering a little girl. Now you seem to think I am a little girl, and you've called me a pig. Is this?
You're a pig, though. I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I mean it, quite literally that you are a pig. Unless I wrote it down in my notes wrong, but I'm pretty certain that you are a pig.
Madam.
Are you a boar? Is that more, sensitive? A hog. Piggy?
Much of my life, I've had to endure the insults of those who've never quite understood the power and prowess that I have possessed, the arcane affinity that I seem to weave through my fingers with as much effort as you do breathing.
Are you magic? Are you a magic pig? You're not poison, you're a magic pig. Oh, plot twist. Could I cast detect magic on you? Or is that rude? You know, I'm not going to take you out of this, this bath because...
as you pick him up, he literally starts squirming and half squealing. And Adam, you can hear these squeals the entire time. He's just been squealing at Mooney. You've just heard little oinks and squeals and grunts and the odd kind of half a wheezy cough out of him as Mooney kind of begins to manhandle the piglet out of the tub. It seems quite perturbed. It seems quite vexed, and it doesn't at all seem happy that Mooney has kind of grabbed him or grabbed it.
I don't know what is happening, but I feel like maybe you should put the pig down. I think angry is very universal.
Why? Mooney puts the pig back in the pot of water.
No, put him down.
So what's your opinion on all this then?
Mine?
Yeah. I mean,
Can you understand the pig? Genuinely, can you understand it?
Yeah, like, just talk,
No,
So
you
apparently...
understand. I can't.
Yeah. Why can't you understand? That's really rude.
I tell him, I'd be like, do you understand the pig?
And he just kind of pushes his little goblin nose back a little bit further, and he just goes, oink, oink.
Hi, he gets it. Adam, I just think you kind of need to, expand your, your horizons a wee bit, and maybe make a wee bit of effort talking to animals that are a bit different to you. You'll learn a lot of stuff about yourself.
Okay. I would like to take the pig back out of the bath and set it on the ground. And then get down on one knee and look very carefully at the pig. I don't know what is happening. I think for the first time in my life I understand why people pray to the gods, but I refrain. Little piggy, do you know where Maisie is?
Annam, you hear, without any misunderstanding, any sort of shred of doubt, that little pig clear its throat. And it utters two things to you before it turns and runs. And I mean, it bolts out of there. Only if it gets you off my back and far away from me, and you take that insolent, ignorant, utterly strange, manhandling, rude, gargantuan woman away from me. I'll take you to where myself and the little girl parted ways, rather amicably, and she was alive when I left her. On two conditions. We, and he kind of wiggles his little trotter, leave. We part ways. You don't talk to me. You never, ever, ever, ever encounter, call, acknowledge, speak, so much as nod in my direction should we ever cross paths again. And the second thing, you will address me by my proper title. Lord Brassica of the Beyond Wilds. And he just runs.
Diana! And I just take off running.
Follow that pig!
As I run
they
past
always
Vivian,
return to
it
the
was
scene
fun.
of the crime. It's my boy! That's my son.
Yeah. So, Diara, can you give me a roll for flower crown making?
Oh yeah, sorry. That's a 5.
Okay. No, it's awful. You've caused some of the flowers to wilt, and like you've kind of squashed them. You've kind of knotted them together. You've clumped up another ball of them. No, it's terrible. It's awful. Helen is just like, I'm embarrassed for you. And seeing the pig run, now the goblin kids are also running as well. So Helen, Kevin, Devin, Bevan, and all the rest of them are just bolting after the pig, with Mooney kind of, again, grabbing at her skirts and running after the pig. Annam, and then you, Di, are all sort of running after this little piglet. And he's sort of a grey, like having taken him out of the water and kind of sopped off some of the bubbles and stuff off of him, you get a sense of his kind of his colouring. He is a grey pig with wisps of kind of white hair kind of around his face and down his back, and he has like a very, very thick sort of blotch of like kind of like a mark on his rump.
Does he have big turquoise eyes?
As you chase after him, I'm going to need everyone to give me either an athletics check or an acrobatics check to maneuver through the woods. Actually, it's not even acrobatics. It's too difficult to be acrobatic at this point. It's got to be straight up athletics. Okay, the goblin kids are doing pretty good. I spoke too soon.
7.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
Nip.
The goblin kid, like half the goblin kids, so Helen, Kevin, and Devin, have kind of cleared the brush as well and have stayed on the pig's trail. Mooney, you kind of, it's that thing of like you catch yourself on some briars and brambles, and then some of the other goblin kids also run into the same kind of bush, and they're like, ow, ow, no, it hurts, ow, no, it can't, ow, no, sorry, go on at me, Helen. And they're all kind of like, oh God, and they're trying to move them out of the way, but it's that, which when you walk into like a bush and you're like, you grab them, you're like, okay, don't hurt your hands, don't hurt your hands, don't hurt your hands. They are trying to move them away a little bit, and Mooney, your skirts and your scarf have all kind of got caught in different places, so you are trying to like untangle yourself. But 3 of the goblins and Annam and Dyra, that you have all cleared that thicket of briars, only to make it out into just beyond a very small clearing. There's exposed rock, a fallen tree, and just lying there, sleeping next to the collapsed sort of branches, just sort of almost cradled in it. You see a small half-elf girl just sleeping on a bunch of dry leaves, and kind of scooting up towards a rocky outcropping and kind of just sitting on his rump, kind of just his 2 toddlers, points to the little girl. Deal. Done. Good day. Goodbye. Forever. And he jumps off the rock, and he runs into the woods. The goblin kids are continuing to give chase.
Diara heads over to Maisie to see if she's hurt or just sleeping.
She's sleeping. She's, even as you kind of approach, you don't see, like you see, like she's got a little kind of scuff of dirt on her face, but she's asleep. And give me a perception check, Diara. Annam, what are you doing?
I would like to just run forward and scoop up the child.
Okay. 25.
In that moment, Diara, something looks, I mean, the forest has been, it's been wet, it's been mucky, it's been cold, and here she is as dry as a bone on a perfectly crisp bed of leaves. Something doesn't quite add up. And it's only as you kind of take one step back and you can hear Mooney behind you, about 20 feet behind you, still kind of rummaging through the brambles. It's just when you take that half step back, and you just see Annam go and scoop Maisie up into his arms. The branches, the way she was cradled in the arm of a giant treant, and as Annam takes her in his hands and lifts her, just right kind of at the top right next to that rocky outcropping where the pig had been, you just see an eye open, like part of the bark just sort of pull away, and there's just a glowing orb inside, and a hand lifts up to grab at you, Annam, from underneath the leaves. I'm going to need everyone to give me an initiative roll. And Mooney, yours is at disadvantage as you are still stuck in our bramble.
17.
Okay.
Hang on. Where the hell is my...
14.
Oh, there it is at the top. 6. Oh, natural 1.
Okay. So, Daira, you got a...
17.
Okay, you're first. Then it is our treant with a 14. Annam, you got 11. And Mooney with a nat 1. Okay. So, yeah, Daira, you were up. You spotted it just in time as Annam kind of went to scoop and pull the little girl away. And you do see it's kind of, as one hand reaches out to grab, it's lifting itself up off the forest floor.
She's just going to put her hand out and say, "Don't you touch him, you oversized firewood," and cast is 6. Yeah, 6. So it's a wisdom save of 13.
Okay. I was like, it's a 6. How is it a 6? That is a dirty 20.
God damn
it. Its head kind of twists as you speak at it, and you just see it kind of like, it almost kind of like scoffs, and a bunch of compost and dust and pebbles just kind of like sputter out of its mouth, as it scoffs off your remark. Bonus action.
Bardic inspiration for Annam.
Okay. As you kind of like stumble back, you're like, "Oh yeah, Annam, you go do your thing." You kind of half hum words of encouragement at him, and Annam, you feel the magic kind of take hold. The treant, it actually it goes to swipe at you, Annam, with that hand. And as the eye kind of opens and blinks, and again, kind of like its vision kind of comes in, it hesitates for a moment, and then it goes to backhand you, Daira. That is that is a 17 to hit.
It does, but can I cast Hellish Rebuke?
You may. For 10. Okay, 12.
It's another dex save of 13. Actually, if it's a reaction, does it have to do the dex?
I think it still does. And that is a 15 minus 1, 14.
Take?
But it still takes half damage.
Yeah. So that is 10, 24, so 12.
Well, see, this is the interesting thing. You feel the magic. Like it's just its hand. You saw it lunge for Anim, stop at the last second, and then immediately its reaction is to swipe back at you, and you are whipped by branches and twigs, and it hurts. You are you're knocked back a little bit, and as you grit your teeth, and again there's that sharp rage building up inside you. And around you, your skin just lights with flame. And where the branches stuck and whipped and scratched, those branches and that long trunk of a branch that is its arm just erupts in fire. The magic didn't feel like it fully connected Daira, but a huge chunk of it caught fire nevertheless. It still takes the 24 damage.
Oh. Weird.
It is Anim, your action.
Is Maisie awake?
No, she is fast asleep in your arms.
I will turn, move back about 15 feet, and set her down gently.
Okay.
And then turn back to the Trent and begin to rage.
Okay.
And as Anim pulls out his battle axe, he just contorts. His face grows thick and wild, and gets about a foot on height and begins barreling towards the Trent. And I'll attack it.
Give me an attack roll.
First attack is 23.
That will hit.
And the second is 21.
Both hit.
Cool. So, 20 damage overall.
Okay, and that's what type of damage?
Oh, slashing damage? Is an axe a slashing damage? Give me a second. DB1 should say.
I think it is.
Slashing, yeah.
Yep.
It's true, I've got axe.
Yep. It is that thing, Daira, as you whip back, you just see Anim rush forward. He's no longer holding Maisie. And when you do, Anim, as you rage, and it's a quiet rage, you barrel in, and Daira, you see Anim, again, his whole body does change. And it always looks painful the way he holds himself in this moment. You've seen other barbarian fighters in the guild, and it's all loud, and it's all kind of like chest puffing. With Anim, it's not that, and it feels at times off-putting isn't the right way, but it's a little unsettling to see somebody get so angry and not express it the same way other people tend to. Nevertheless, you watch as he, again, swinging that great axe over his shoulders into both hands, just throwing his whole body into the swing. He buries it into the chest of the treant, and then spinning backwards on foot, pulling the axe free. He just, from his left hand into his right, into a single hand grip, just throws his whole weight round as he spins and buries the great axe a little lower into the treant's chest this time. The treant does recoil in pain, like it does flinch. About half of its body has lifted as you are reefing it and slashing it with the axe at him. But the entire time, Daira, from where you are, you can see that its eyes are now still fixed on Maisie. Mooney, it is your action.
Oh wow. Does Mooney see that it's looking at?
Yes, and
Looking at her?
you can see Maisie. You saw Anim put her, lay her down, 15 feet away from the treant, and you still see that the woodland creature is staring at her. Part of it is on fire, and part of it has been hacked at with Anim's axe.
Oh no. Oh, that might change. Okay. Mooney's going to quickly see that the treant is looking at Maisie, and she's going to step in front of the wee girl and try and like create some form of barrier between the two. And then Mooney will take out her spell book and she'll flick through the pages till she gets to the story about the lion tamer and his magic whip, and she's going to cast Tasha's mind whip, and it needs to make a intelligence saving throw.
Okay. DC
15.
9.
Yes, fuck you. Firstly, damage. It does. What is that? Psychic. 3d6 psychic damage. Pretty average. It does 9 psychic damage. Which kind of sucks. And let's see. In its next turn, it can either move, it can use an action, or it can use a bonus action. It cannot do more than one.
Okay.
It needs to pick one.
In that moment, Mooney, as you kind of put yourself between the Treant and Maisie, and again, like everybody in the village described her as this precocious, adorable little half-elf little child, and she is definitely a half-elf child, but
she's just fucking ugly.
Yeah, she's that pig was way cuter. Those goblin kids were way cooler. Like, we should have hung out with them. Like, she's clearly grand, but nevertheless, you see Anam and Dayara kind of spring into action. You put yourself between her and the Treant, and just drawing on that collective sort of like, we should have been hanging out with those goblin kids and washing that pig. You let that thought just kind of snap from your mind, and that psychic energy just whips out from you. It hits the Treant, and there is a brief moment where your psychic energy and its psychic energy hit and connect, and there is a flash in his mind. Protect. Dayara, it is your turn.
She to try to shatter it.
Okay.
Not like me. So yeah, she's gonna try and centralize it on kind of like where we're enough away from Adam and Mooney and the baby. It's a con save of 13.
Okay. I just want to check something. Okay. Yeah. I was trying to decide, given that it's a treant, and it's a plant and it's a giant tree with rocks in it, would it have a disadvantage? It doesn't, because there is a thing.
It says
it's inorganic material.
Yeah, stone, crystal, or metal has disadvantage.
Yeah. And even though there are chunks of stone in it, like it's not the
majority.
Yeah. So okay. A con save.
Yes, please.
Okay. That is a 24.
Oh, fudge.
Yeah.
So you just take 5 then.
Okay, 5 force damage.
Yeah. Or is it? Yeah.
And then give me what's your bonus action?
I think I only have one more bardic inspiration, so I am gonna give it to Moon.
Okay. And with that, it then as you concentrate on it, Dayara, as you pull on that magic around you, you focus it on a point at the treant, and that sound gets louder and louder, and you are thinking of the song that you were singing when Regmund almost yanked some merchant's arm clean out of its socket. and the scream he made and the pitch that it reached higher than yours, you emulate that sound as some of the trees around the tree ant actually explode with the force of your shatter spell. You see the tree ant sort of wince for a moment, and he kind of just bats it away. And when he does, he sees you, Mooney, kind of standing towards the little girl, and his eyes kind of, you see him kind of flick around the clearing, and it doesn't say anything, but Diara and Mooney, you feel magic wafting off of it, and then from either side of this small clearing, you see two trees uproot themselves, and they start. They run towards you, Mooney. Their branches outstretched, and they. Okay. They are going to. They are going to try and swat you out of the way, Mooney.
Oh no.
Okay, that's fine. So, okay, that's interesting. Okay, that is a 14 to hit.
Shield.
Okay. And then a 19 to hit.
Oh, that just hits.
And then a 21 to hit. No, sorry. No, 11 to hit.
Misses.
9. So one of those hits.
Yes.
Okay. Then 13. Take 14 bludgeoning damage. These Leaf, Mooney alone. That. Thank you, Homebrew Show, for that comment.
Leave me alone. I'm so little.
These two oak trees just sort of uproot themselves, run towards you, Mooney, and then as the first takes a swing and you bring shield up around yourself, two more branches come down on top of you, all repelled by shield, but then one, just as it hits the magic, the shield shatters, and you are just whipped and beaten with the gnarled sort of branch of this oak tree. There's no where the tree ant seems to have some sort of humanoid-esque shape to it in its face and the way. These are just two living trees. The entire time, Mooney, they are as much as they are on top of you. You see that their lower branches have formed sort of a dome over Maisie. So they've locked their lower branches to try and shield her from anything. It is Annam.
But I believe since I am already raging, there's probably not a lot of room for coherent thought, so I'm just going to continue to smash a treant.
Smash away.
But definitely getting the sense that we're not getting the whole picture here. I'll just rush up with my battle axe to whichever one is most, in my opinion, threatening to Maisie. Which would be the closest to her.
So you're going to move away from the tree and attack the two trees that are attacking Mooney and potentially Maisie. Okay. It's going to take an attack of opportunity on you. Okay. Only given its size, and you're moving out of that space. Doesn't really matter because that's a nat 1. So we're just going to say it's that thing of as you turn on the ball of your foot, Annam, towards Maisie and Mooney, and you see that they're sort of beset upon by these oak trees. You go to run, and immediately that large flaming branch that Diara seems to have cast magic over, it swoops at you, and again, Diara and Mooney, you're kind of preoccupied, but you literally see Annam as he's running drop to his knees and slide under this swooping, flaming branch. It flicks and flecks dirt up into the air, and he just emerges, sort of in that same motion of the slide, back up into a run. And great axe in both hands takes a swing at the trees. Yep, you can give me an attack roll.
17.
Hits.
For 8 damage.
Okay.
And then I do have 10-foot reach right now while I'm raging, so if I can reach the other tree, I'll hit it as well.
You will. Yeah.
13.
To hit. Misses.
Yeah.
No, 13 doesn't hit. It is that thing as you swing the first sort of lunge Anam into the first one. You catch it right almost into the middle of the trunk. You pull the axe free. You go to swing into the second, and your axe meets branches and sort of thinner wisps of twigs that seem to almost trying to be kind of reaching for the axe to try and pull it away from you. And you manage to keep a grip on it as your second attack misses. You see that Mooney has quite a deep bruise forming kind of on her face and down her neck where she was walloped by these branches. And Mooney, it is your action. You see that Anam is standing across from you, axe half buried in one of the grasps of one of the trees.
When that connection was made and she got like the context of protect, did she interpret that as protect the child or like protect the forest from intruders? Does she understand that they might be protecting the girl? Because she wasn't there when she turned up and she was like cradled.
Yes.
She was late to the party.
So I want you to give me because you're so if you want to try and focus on that magic, because it was, like I said, it was a flash, because it was the whip. I think, sorry, every time I say whip I have to do that. It's just a reflex. But if you want, you can try and pull on that magic as sort of your bonus action to see if there's anything else that you can detect within it in that kind of thought.
Like an intelligence roll?
Yes, yeah. A saving throw.
Saving throw. Oh, that's good. 16.
Okay. It's that it doesn't make sense, and your head is spinning and it's pounding and the pain is coursing through you now. And now Anam is on top of the other trees and he's trying to help, but that feeling, you can't quite let it go. It's like everything that Mooney kind of latches onto. Once you have a fixation on something, you have to know everything about it before you kind of leave it go. And there is something in that feeling of protect and that memory, and you do see a flash of Maisie wandering alone in the woods, crying for Mama and Papa and Bessie, and she's cold, she's frightened, and she's completely she's completely unaware of what's happening where she was. And then you see the tree ant just parting the ways in the forest, and then the ground kind of drying out and just leaves falling from the trees to make this bed for her to sleep on, to rest, and even some berries being left for her to eat. And the tree ant doesn't really say much. It doesn't say anything, actually. But it sort of encircles itself around her to protect her. The tree ant is trying to protect Maisie.
Okay. But they're trying to hurt me. And there's like 2 or 3 of them on top of me right now?
There's 2 trees. There's 2 oak trees fighting you and Anam. And there is the larger tree ant half pulled itself out of the ground, attacking you as well.
And currently Maisie is like basically swaddled in like a woven.
Yes, like
It's just-
barrier of branches and twigs by the 2 oak trees.
Minnie's gonna do something risky.
No.
Minnie's gonna like crouch down. She's gonna make herself really, 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 really small, and she's not even gonna think about it. She's going to cast Major Image, and she's going to create an illusion of Maisie, running away through the tree line and far away from the fight, hoping to God that they might follow her to protect and get away from me.
Okay. I mean, with something like Major Image, like that, I mean, you create the object, right? There's no spell roll here. Like it's just the illusion.
I just make
happens.
it's a casting time of 1 action, so it pretty much just happens.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's going to be intelligence for the treant to determine whether that would make sense rather than wisdom. So I'm going to give it. It's not even an intelligence saving throw. I suppose it would be because it doesn't have an investigation. So it has a +1 to this.
Is it a spell save? Do they have to do a check against my spell DC?
So
it doesn't say.
Normally, if they were investigating it, that's the thing. They would be if they wanted to investigate the image to determine. But it doesn't have investigation as a skill. But it has a +1 to its. So physical interaction with the image reveals it to be an illusion. A creature that uses its action to examine the image can determine that it is an illusion with a successful intelligence check against your spell save DC. So
what's my spell save DC? 15.
Okay, so I'm going to roll a d20 and I'm going to add +1 to whatever I get here. That's a 13 +1.
Yay!
Get wrecked, Trey.
And again, a little version of Maisie. Again, not as precocious, not as adorable, not as precious as everybody makes her to be. She's just exactly as she looks like. Not as shiny or as fun or as different as the goblins or the pig, but she kind of just runs out from under the trees, and immediately the treant turns its body, as much of it as it can. You see the roots of it are kind of like that are long buried in the soil have just sort of upturned themselves, and that log arm just kind of reaches out slowly, and the 2 oak trees run past you and Annam, giving Annam an opportunity attack if you wish.
I think if I've seen the image as well, I'm going to start piecing it together and hesitate.
Okay. The oak trees run as fast as they can after Maisie, and the illusion of her it kind of disappears into the tree line, and you do see all these other trees kind of bend and reach and try and swoop, but while they are under the treant's control, they're not sentient in the way that the 2 trees it summoned were. So they're not making investigation checks when they go to grab it. It just means that the branch missed. So you do see, sort of cradled and just kind of half yawning and rubbing her eyes, Maisie kind of just looks up at you, Mooney, and Annam, and just kind of like, I want to go home. Have you guys seen Bessie?
Minnie grabs her, and she's going to wait her turn before she starts to run.
Oh,
because there's 1 treant left.
No, there was 3. So there was the giant one that uprooted itself, that it's turned its attention, and the 2 oak trees. They've all, like, the oak trees have run after the illusion, and the giant treant has turned its body away from you. So you can, at this moment, book it in the opposite direction.
Grab, run.
Okay. Annam and Daira, I assume, much of the muchness here.
Yeah.
It's a
Take off after her.
I back off backwards, like growling at the trees.
all of the trees. Oh my god, it's that
All of them.
terrible.
The whole way out of this forest. I'm like,
And they are like occasionally, Mooney, between the time you run and the illusion goes in the opposite direction, like major illusion, there is a couple of things with it that, like, as long as you are within range of the illusion, which is 120 feet, as soon as you and the illusion get within 120 feet of each other, it vanishes. And in that motion, the tree ant, there is a howl throughout the Doctor's Woods, not in anger, not in rage, just in pain and in sorrow, as the forest weeps for what it believes to have been a spirit child, and it laments the loss of another one. But you barrel with Maisie, who is completely and totally bewildered by what is happening, out of the Doctor's Woods. Again, through trees, uncertain, unsure, suspicious, but none seem to block or deter you as you make your way far beyond the reaches of the giant tree ant, and in once more to the familiar surroundings of the outlying Doctor's Woods and the village of Canuck beyond, where you are met with applause and cheers as little Maisie Riverfield is handed over to her parents. And Byron is again being congratulated, being thanked. Bernard is sheepishly in the back somewhere, and his mother has kind of elbowed him in the side as he kind of like gives you kind of a thumbs up, Diarra, for a job well done. And it's interesting, while repairs were eventually carried out on the old mare, for that evening only, you were all able to the Raider sisters, Amy and Bonnie, seemed to have softened on the return of the little half-elf girl, and their ban on the guild hall members being able to partake in the tavern was lifted for that night only. And drinks were had in your name, though occasionally when the crowd got just a little too boisterous, a little too loud, there was a "s" from one of the Raider sisters, just to tell you to keep it at a certain level. All the while, at home in the guild, Regimen nursed his way through cat's whiskers fever, and little Maisie Riverfield, who had been lost, was now found and returned. And for each of you, that is a core memory, effectively. In that sense of getting used to each other once more in a different sort of scenario, in a different context to your abilities. But for Annam, it was always that weird sort of uncertainty of, wait, did the pig actually talk, or was that Mooney just doing the pig's voice? And can Mooney actually talk? You've never to this day gotten a definitive answer as to whether or not the Furbolg woman is able to actually speak to creatures. And while the memory of it is hazy, you do remember the pig's voice, and you do remember his name. But you just can't trust yourself as to whether you actually heard it, or whether it was just having been within the company of other Diarra for so long that just a little of the madness rubbed off on you. For Diarra, that is the beginning of a romantic tryst, an unrequited, spurning love that the ages themselves would never be able to contain. So he wrote that night in his diary, that his mother found the following day and then burned. Bernard Wall found himself completely drawn to you and your abilities. And with it, there was also that sense of maybe not always expecting the worst out of these things, that sometimes the unpredictable nature of the adventure is kind of part of it, and letting yourself sort of relish in that a small bit. But for one member of the search party that found and rescued Maisie Riverfield, none of that actually mattered. None of that counted for anything. Yeah, you rescued that little girl, and yeah, people in the town seem to like you a little bit more, or whatever. That doesn't matter. Something about that creature, something about that pig, whatever. I mean, he didn't seem to identify as a pig. He didn't seem to recognize that he was a pig. Something awoken in you, Mooney, when you heard him decry his title, Lord Brassica of the Beyond Wilds. And ever since you've heard that name, it is a name that is etched on not every page, but some pages of your spellbook, some pages of your storybook. Sometimes you don't even remember writing it, but it's there. And it's written in block, it's written in cursive, it's written backwards, it's written in different colours, it's scratched, it's scribbled, and it's doodled.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
But you spent the next couple of nights while others were packing the library out with new books, and some books that had been found were returned to their familiar homes on the shelves. While Byron had requested your assistance in helping restock the library, you spent it researching and gazing through the different pages, trying to find any mention of a Lord Brassica or a place called the Beyond Wilds. No tome or text, no scroll or journal in Byron's possession mentioned either. And yet something within you told you that both of those things exist, and you are connected to both of them. And that is where we will leave our prologue adventure, The Lost and the Found. Please do.
I think the others might agree on this. I feel like, given the group's dynamic, and once we all catch up on what happened, like Mooney hearing the protect, would we want to escort Maisie back? Would we want to occasionally take Maisie on a little foray into the woods?
Yeah.
Mooney doesn't care.
What the hell's a Maisie?
Amazing.
No, you're amazing, Anna.
Tiara and Adam just occasionally take Maisie back into the woods, and Adam learns to trust the trees again.
A little bit. Okay, the first couple of times, Adam, we're going to say that there was that, like, the trees were kind of standing off to you a little bit. Like, a few of them were, like, the branches were kind of squared up. But within time, okay. One of you can give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Yeah.
Not so much. 13.
Okay. So, with a 13, you have come to, again, you don't really know the treant spoke. Do either of you speak? FYI, do either of you speak any of these languages? Sylvan, Druidic, or Elvish? Nope. And Diara?
I do. That's unfortunate.
I speak all of those.
Dwarvish.
Of course.
And I do have the Druid craft spell. If that's in any way useful.
Okay. we will say, and so this might make for a change. Okay, so if we want to, because we talked about this being a canon event, both of you on your level 10 characters can add Druidic as a language that you have learned that over time you have. Now you're not, we're going to say, because it'll take you as proficient, but it is one of those things that it does take time for you to sort of, it's another language, and it's a different type of language, so you can read it and speak it, but it's that thing of like the process. There's a process to it. You learn that the treant is just called Birch and Earth. That's its name, Birch and Earth. And over time, as Maisie grew up, it learned that Maisie wasn't a spirit child, and you weren't taking a spirit child away from it. That Maisie was a human child, though he continues to believe that there is something about Maisie. And again, it is one of those things that you do learn a couple of years later that Maisie is a druid and has druidic abilities, and she helps the two of you learn to speak to Birch and Earth a little bit better. So both of your characters now can speak druidic at level 10, so you can take that as a language. Love that. That was phenomenal. Thank you, Richard. That was class. That was such a nice little thing. I also love the fact that Mooney was like, I don't give a shit. Fuck off. I've got books to know. Yeah. Got it right. That's written. That's carved under the table in the dining hall. That's been written in flour in the kitchen.
I like the idea as well as that night when Richmond is on the bunk above her dying. She's just like carving into like the bottom of the bunk. Lord Brassica, completely disrupting. So,
100%. And that is where we will leave our adventure this evening. That is where we leave the lost and the found. I will make our wrap up very, very quick because I know we've gone over a little time. But thank you for everybody who stayed and watched and joined us this evening. As I mentioned, this weekend, myself and some of the D8 Dungeon crew are going to be at AdventureCon in Galway. We have a stall. I'll be running some games. There's workshops. There is so much happening over that weekend. You can check it out on their website, adventurecon.com. You can check them out on all social media. Tickets are still available for both Saturday and Sunday, and all proceeds are going to the Athenry Adventures Club, which is a youth group aimed at giving a space to young people who want to do something other than play sports and want a space to do that they feel comfortable in. So it's a really, really, really fun event. We were at it last year. We're back this year, and you will be able to get your hands on some Romancing the Dungeon merch, as well as some Beyond Horizon's Edge artwork, courtesy of Kat. And there'll even be a lucky dip sponsored by Flim Flam Jim Jam, where you can win all manner of shenanigans and prizes, and the possibility of winning a limited edition D8 Dungeon t-shirt. And outside of that, I want to quickly mention Mystery Dice Goblin once again. Mystery Dice Goblin are makers and sellers of some phenomenal TTRPG goodies, not to mention their awesome dice bags and random bags that you can get your hands on, including scoops. And if you use the code D8 at the checkout, you get 15% off your order, and we get some of those proceeds. They come back to us, and that helps us pay for artwork for our different streams. It helps us create more content, and it goes to running events and stuff like that. So do check out Mr. Dice Goblin if you're in the mood or need for some dice or TTRPG goodies. Totally check them out. We are D8 Dungeon. We are a group of Irish TTRPG role-playing game enthusiasts. Here on Twitch, we stream every second Monday Beyond Horizon's Edge. Every second Thursday, Ben and Declan on a roll, our brand new TTRPG talk show starting this Thursday. In a couple of weeks' time, we will be kicking off season 2 of Random DMs, and there will be some familiar faces from Beyond Horizon's Edge participating in the next season, where myself and Emma will be joined by 3 other random DMs to adventure through the Dragon of Icespire Peak, one of the D&D module adventures, and I can't wait for that. It's going to be so much fun. And then this Friday there is a brand new episode of Romancing the Dungeon, our podcast series, dropping. And very, very soon we will be starting another stream here on Twitch as we begin season 2 of our Gothic horror series, Saving Grace, which I'm so stoked to. I'm so stoked to play all these games with all of you. And with that, I do want to quickly thank Richard, Kat, and Eilish for joining us this evening. I know we've kind of put a pause on the main campaign, but we didn't want to not stream this evening. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for just making that such a blast to run. Emma, if you're watching this either now or on VOD, hope you do feel better. And when you're watching this, if it is on VOD, hope you feel better and hope you're well rested. We're back in 2 weeks' time. We will be down our Diara, so we will continue with another prologue. So we will be doing some other sort of shenanigans and chicanery with Regmund, Mooney, and Annam this time round. Until then, mind yourself, take care, have a good week, and hopefully we'll see you here at 7:30 on Thursday for Ben and Declan on a roll. It's a 1-hour TTRPG talk show, and very, very excited. So mind yourselves, see you then, and take care.
Bye.